Here with Moe Howard, Philadelphia Black Basketball Hall of Famer, went to St. Joe's Prep, University of Maryland, got drafted in the second round in Cleveland Cavaliers. Question one, who was one of the toughest, or who were the toughest players you faced in Philly when you played?
Wow, there are a bunch of them. So let's talk about my man Andre McCarter, right? So Andre McCarter went to school Overbrook, right across the street here, and he was the only player, in my recollection, other than Wilt Chamberlain, was a two-time first-team high school All-American, and he was a guard. So whenever I played against Andre, my team lost. But when I played with him, my team won. So he was always the yardstick of measure for me, okay? Then there's Joe Bryant, who is one of my best basketball friends of all time. There were so many. Jeff Garrett from Benjamin Franklin. This dude used to torch me. I could not stop this guy, man. He was one of the toughest guards I ever had to play against on any level, okay? There were the Taylor brothers, Eddie and Willie Taylor from Alney, who were very good scorers, great jump shooters, right? Mike Stokes from West Philly. He was another tough cookie. And then, I played in the Catholic League, so, I played against some tough dudes from the suburbs, like Michael Arizin from Cardinal O'Hara. Paul Fox. Paul Fox went to Archbishop Carroll and ended up playing at Duke. So, there's been a lot of dudes, and then I'm not even going to talk about the guys from my neighborhood, right? I'm from North Philly. Reuben Collins, who ended up playing at Maryland Eastern Shore. He played on the first HBCU team that was ranked in the top 20. And if I'm not mistaken, they did play in NIT. There were several players from that team that made it to the NBA. I think 4 or 5 of them got drafted, and Reuben was amongst one of them. So, yeah, man, this city, whatever part of the city you from, man, it's some dudes, man.
So being inducted into the Philadelphia Black Basketball Hall of Fame, what does that mean to you?
So, that's a good question as well. So, I'm one of the co-founders. Del Greco Wilson and Jeff Arnold and myself sort of kind of founded all of this. And the third induction class, Del Greco was saying to me, well, we got to induct you. People are going to ask, like, well, how come Moe Howard isn't in it? And I declined. I told him, listen, I know that there were guys in this city who were better than me who deserved to be inducted. And so, because I figured like this, based on what I had done as a basketball player in the city, I was going to get in there eventually, if I had to wait 10 years, I was going to get in. See, so that wasn't important to me. It really hasn't been that important to me until I see some of the younger guys that I sort of kind of mentored and they looked up to me, seeing them get in.
In the park dedicated to Kobe and Gianna, what did Joe and Kobe and Gianna mean to you?
Yeah, so Joe was the Public League Player of the Year. I was the Catholic League Player of the Year. We played against each other out in Conshohocken tournament, and also out in Narberth, and then we played together in the Sunny Hill League, where the year that I finally got to play, there were 3 or 4 of us that made it to the league, right? It was Andre McCarter, Maurice Lucas, who played with us, JB, and myself, you know. So I tell you how close Joey and I were. You know, Joey used to be a distance runner, right, for Bartram. And when he and Mr. B would get into it, Joey would take off, run out the house, and then Mr. B would call and he said, "Listen, you know, me and Joe got into it, so he should be at your house in about 30 minutes." And he would run from Southwest all the way to North Philly, man. Yeah. So I chose Maryland. Joe chose LaSalle, and he had to sit out the first year. But like the very first time when I was at Maryland, we played against North Carolina State at home. B came to the game, right? Because, you know, I had been telling them that John Lucas was hyping David Thompson like crazy. You know, and I was like, dude, it's North Carolina. Y'all can't be playing that kind of ball. You know what I'm saying? Till I saw this cat. And B was there, you know. So, yeah, man, we were friends. You know, while he was at LaSalle, and then he left early and went to the Sixers. I actually went to a Sixer game. They were playing the Bullets in the Capitol Center, and I saw that they were interviewing Joe on TV. So I came out the stands and I went down and you know, I said, "Yo," and he turned around, and all of this was live on TV, you know. We hugging each other, dapping each other up. So needless to say, B was a very, very important part of my basketball life. He's a great friend. You know, he went to he went to San Diego and he played for the Clippers, and then he played in Houston, and then he went overseas. You know, prior to him going overseas, you know, Kobe was born, and he grew up overseas, right? So having the opportunity to not just watch Kobe grow as a kid, you know, I watched him grow as a player. So for me, probably the most impressive part of watching Kobe's development was, you know, my college teammate John Lucas, he became the coach of the Sixers. But he did tell me, he said, "Listen, there's a kid who goes to Lower Merion, and you got to make sure that he gets to play in every scrimmage." And that was Kobe. So this was the summer before his senior year. And I can tell you, you know, Kobe, you know, when Joey and them would come back from Europe, from Italy in the summer times, we'd all play pickup. And I distinctly remember like trying to guard Kobe when he was like 13 years old, and he was busting my ass. And my son was there, Ashley was there, and I kept looking over at him while Kobe was just giving it to me. So I said, "Bro, I'm gonna step on my defense." Man, he torched me even more, and he was 13 years old. So, you know, when we started the workouts, man, we worked out at St. Joe's, we worked out at the athletic club, not the athletic club, the sporting club downtown, and sometimes we would work out at Episcopal. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. For him to be that young and to be that seasoned. But what impressed me about him more than anything was he was always the first one there. He was always the last one to leave. Like, he had a strength guy. He had his own strength guy then, okay? And there were guys that were in the league didn't have strength. There were guys, they wouldn't even go near the weight room. He was in there every day. He was in there every day. I can remember one time they were scrimmaging, and Sean Bradley was on the team. So, you know, I mean, everybody dunks on Sean Bradley, right? But Cole went up over top. Like, Sean was fully extended. He's 7'6", and Sean was fully extended. and Kobe went way up over him. He missed a dunk, but I had never seen anything like that, especially from a young dude, you know? So another thing is when Jerry Stackhouse got drafted, right? So, you know, Kobe was working out with the team, and Jerry was working out with us, and you know, Kobe and Jerry, they would go at it every day. They'd go at each other every day. And I can remember we were scrimmaging over at Episcopal, and Jerry came down, and you know, he shot a tough shot. Kobe was guarding him real hard, and he shot a tough shot and went in. And then Kobe came down, and he took a tough shot and went in. And then Jerry tried to take Kobe to the basket, and Kobe, you know, was guarding him hard, and Jerry missed a shot. But in the meantime, he kind of hip tossed Kobe. And Kobe fell on the floor, and he got up, ran the floor, caught the ball from like 30 feet, and banked it in. So I'm standing next to Maurice Cheeks, who is one of the assistant coaches at the time. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Jerry Stackhouse was the second pick. And Maurice says to me, well, listen, if Jerry is number 2, Kobe has to be 2A. Because again, this was the summer between his junior and senior year of high school. So to watch that development, and I saw Joe that in the fall, because Joe never came to any of the workouts. He never came to any of the workouts. And so I saw Joe. We were both going into a Sixer game, and as we were walking up to the steps to get into the arena, I said to Joe, I said, "Yo, man, I heard Kobe is, you know, he might be able to go pro." And Joe said, "Well, that's what they say. You think he's good enough?" I said, "B, if they'll take him, let him go." Let him go. Because I watched what he did against them dudes, man. It was crazy to see somebody so young that was so skilled and so dedicated. It was bananas, man. So yeah, that family meant a lot to me, you know, because Joey and I, we kind of grew up the same way. And I'm sure he didn't know that his son was going to become one of the greatest players to ever play basketball. But, you know, I think Joe was his dad more than anything.
All right, last question. Who is Moe Howard?
Wow, that's really a deep question. So I grew up in a family, they were contributors, right? My dad was the ultimate contributor, man. Like, if he had 2 and you had none, he'd give you 1. And that's sort of kind of how I fashioned my life. I'm far, far, far from the best basketball player I know, you know, but I like to think that I've been a humanitarian, that I have been a community contributor. I think I want people to know me as somebody that has mentored people. I've gone out here looking for people to help. You know, during COVID, some of our basketball brethren and sisters, you know, they were sort of kind of down on their luck, and myself, along with members of the Black Basketball Hall of Fame, we went looking for them, man, and gave them a couple dollars, and it wasn't no big thing, but sometimes, you know, the greatest feeling in the world is being able to do something for somebody that you know can never do it for you. You know, like I always question my motives and the purity of my motives. Yeah, I see a lot of things that I don't like in the game today, but you know, the game has passed me by. You know, but there's still some basic tenets of the game that you have to respect. You have to respect the game. If you play in this game, So you got all kinds of people involved now. You got agents and handlers and trainers, and so respect the game, man. Respect the game. And on my tombstone, I just wanted to say, that um, I was a loving father, I was an honorable man, and that I was a community contributor.